Hi everyone, and welcome to another video. And today I wanted to do an update of the post-op because I did not realize it had been so long since I had done a video regarding the surgery that I had back in April. And my best excuse is that things just got really overwhelming. I did end up having somewhat of a side effect from the surgery, and to be honest with you, just kind of dealing with that in itself was really hard, especially after the recovery process was so long that then when something seemed to be going wrong, it just kind of snowballed for me. And so I'm on the other side of it now, and I realize again how important it is not only to do these videos, but to also get out of my own funk. With that being said, I had the brachioplasty and the vertical planectomy back in April. And as my other videos states, I was kind of locked into certain positions. I was immobile for a long time. I had some nurses come and help at the house because there were things that I was unable to do. After about 10 weeks, I was able to get the ACE bandages off. Initially, they told me 8. I did have a few complications, and so extra swelling, things like that. And so we had to keep it on for another 2 weeks. But after 10 weeks, I was cleared and the ACE bandages came off. And now we're so many months out of that, and everything has healed. I didn't have any infection, and I didn't have any issues with the healing process, which is just amazing. But I can give a sneak peek. I wasn't sure how to best show it, but I know before you would see the ACE bandages. So this one, it starts right about here in the elbow, and it goes all the way down to about underneath like the bra line. And again, it's just on the other arm as well. If you can kind of see how the line goes down. So it's healed up really well. And the nice part is the way the surgeon made the incisions. When my arm is down, like you don't see any of the incisions, everything's on the inside part. When I do go to fix my hair or lift something above my head, I'm still kind of getting used to some people going like, whoa, or like, what happened? Like looking at it because it still needs time to probably change the pigmentation. I know on other surgeries, usually took about a year or so, and the scars looked a little bit better. So, very happy with the results overall. But one of the problems that I did have was that there was some damage done to my ulnar nerve in my right hand. And what makes me laugh when I say that is before the surgery, since they were doing both arms, I told myself that if anything were to happen, I kind of hope that it would happen to the right hand because I'm left-handed now. When I started having issues, I'm just like, okay, well, at least it's the right hand, right? And it wasn't that bad because I have been able to keep my motor skills for everything. But my main problem is the fact that from these two fingers, and you go all the way down here, there's just absolutely no feeling at all. And so we know for sure that the ulnar nerve was not like severed because I have movement, which is very important. And I would much rather have movement than feeling. But there have been a lot of things where the loss of feeling has impacted. So as far as typing, I used to type about 84 words per minute without hesitation. And I enjoyed when I would work in accounting to do like the little numerical part that was on the side, and I could do that without looking. But unfortunately, because I can't feel my last two fingers, I don't really know what keys I hit when I go to type. And it makes my typing much worse, along the fact of like when I'm trying to hold stuff, I kind of know I'm holding it. Like if I'm holding a cup, right? Like I kind of can feel this part of it. But because I don't feel these fingers, it's not feeling as secure when I'm holding onto something. So I'm noticing that my grip is different and off. So again, out of the spectrum of the different things that could be a side effect of a surgery, I still feel very blessed, and I do feel like it's something that I can deal with currently. When I first started noticing the sensation issues, after any of my surgeries, it took a year, sometimes 18 months for some of the nerves to grow back and reconnect, is the best way that I can express it. It's not professional. But for some reason, like ever since I woke up in recovery, that whole area has just been completely numb. And there was no little zings you would feel or other things that would kind of indicate like nerve growth that I felt in other areas of my body um, at other surgeries. And even during this one, right, I could start to feel stuff on my left arm and I started to, be able to do more. And it was like, what's going on with this right hand? So because I wanted to be an advocate for myself and I wanted to make sure that I had all my T's crossed and I's dotted, I called my hand surgeon that I've used previously in consult. And during that consult, my goal was to get some OT. So that way I would just have more functioning with it. And I was hoping that almost like with sensation pads or things of that nature, that would help with the nerve kind of regrowth or redoing whatever it needs to do. But to my surprise, he wanted to do some nerve testing. And so he ordered an EMG and an NCS. And so an EMG is electromyography type diagnostic testing that tests the muscle and the nerve reaction and how it kind of corresponds to be able to diagnose a lot of different things. In my case, they put needles in and they would send electrical currents through, and then I would have to move my arm and do different things while I believe it's called an oscilloscope monitor would pick up the wavelengths and you would hear almost like you do on like an ultrasound of like that whoosh, 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 kind of wavelength thing. And by measuring that, the person doing the testing could see what's going on with my nerves, or overall in the study, you could look at your muscles too. But mine was primarily focused on the nerves, which is why I had the NCS nerve conduction study done, which pretty much like sends electrical impulses through different parts of your nerves and tests the reflex of how the electrical currents are being sent. I did find out after that I failed both tests. And so that just confirmed the fact that I really did have numbness and no sensation to that area. So that was good to at least have that validated, I guess. But so I went back to the hand surgeon to find out, okay, can I get that OT strip now? And he explained that in his opinion, we need to have surgery and we need to have surgery right away because of scar tissue. Now, in my understanding, when scar tissue heals and you don't like soften it, it can be very hard. And so it can be difficult to go through. But when he was saying that, we needed to have the surgery before the scar tissue, my first question was, all right, what does this surgery entail? Like, where are the marks going to be? How long is the recovery going to be? And I was met with, we're not sure. This would be considered exploratory. And so they couldn't tell me how big of a scar, where the scar would be. He did tell me that if there was enough nerve damage, he would take a nerve from my thigh area and transplant it there to fix it, which I think he meant as reassuring, but it was not during that moment. And then when I said about, how long recovery, because I'm coming off of 11 weeks not being able to drive, just started being able to drive and do things on my own. How much longer would I be unable to use my right arm? And that was met with, again, where it's unclear because this is just exploratory. We're not sure. And that was a lot to take in at that time for myself. And like I stated in other videos, I do not know it all. I don't try to act like I know it all. I'm always learning something. And so this was a learning experience for me to where the surgeon's sitting across going, all right, and would you like to schedule that surgery? And I said, I'm going to need a little bit of time to think about this. And he reiterated that, got to think about the scar tissue, but he understands that's a lot. So just let him know when I made up my mind if I want to explore the surgery, aspect to it. Very kind of shocking for me, right? Wasn't expecting that. Again, I thought, why not just get some occupational therapy? But okay. I had a follow up with the surgeon who did my surgery. And I just told her, hey, I did the nerve conduit study. I did the EMG. Like, just wanted to let you know it failed, you know, and she said, hey, it takes a while for your nerves to grow back. Like, in her opinion, the doctor was a little bit aggressive with the idea of doing those tests because, in all honesty, the tests were very uncomfortable and it hurt a lot, especially with stimulating the needles in the nerve with electrical currents. That was not fun at all or pleasant to do at all. And so, you know, okay, I did it and we've got it on the books in case, you know, something would need to get fixed. But overall, everything else with the surgery went okay and everything else is healing up really well. So I would still recommend that if you're having issues because of weight loss and the extra skin, that you definitely look into it because it was a very uncomfortable time period. But on the other side of it, now that it's been about 5 months, like, I will say how worth it was because overall, in all honesty, when you do have excess skin, something that, you know, people didn't tell me when I started losing weight, is, you know, you get a lot of skin irritations and that can turn into a lot of things. And it is just ultimately so uncomfortable. And so it has been amazing to be able to move my arms a lot more around and feel better. So it was worth the struggle. But again, I think the videos I did before kind of showing some things you could have at home that help the recovery go better, that could possibly be something to help as well as there's other, you know, people who have done videos and that's what I did. I just checked out what other people did just so I was a little bit more prepared. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this whole ulnar thing and seeing if I do start to get some sensation back. I wasn't able to get anybody to write a script for occupational therapy, so I did order a few things off Amazon to kind of play around just to kind of see if I could stimulate more nerve growth. But again, I mean, just in some of the areas, it's been a setback, but overall, I count myself really lucky. So I'm not going to sit here and complain about that. But I just wanted to share about those tests because, in all honesty, like looking back, I probably should have waited to do the test because, you know, I was only 2 months out from it. And so, you know, was that the greatest idea? Like, maybe not. I mean, I guess we have a baseline to go off of if I have to get that test done in the future to reevaluate things. But if it is something that I do want to address in the future, if I notice that it is continuing to kind of hold me back, I did have a moment when visiting friends that, you know, my friend just had a baby. And so it was like, oh, I want to hold the baby. And I was a little unsure because of my issues with just holding a cup. And I was kind of like, this is a baby. So I did the best I could, you know, and managed ish. But that might be something in the future that if I don't get any of the feeling back, I may want to explore. Just for at least now, though, I'm enjoying not having bandages and restrictions on. So if you have any comments or questions to any of this, like drop them below and I will definitely do my best to look into them. And thanks for checking out this video and have a great rest of your day.